We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no permission slips. For more than a decade, Donald Trump called Obama's Iran deal a disaster and promised America something far stronger. But now, after years of chaos and the threat of another Middle East war, Barack Obama has broken his silence and exposed a stunning reality. Trump's so-called historic deal may be nothing more than a weaker version of the agreement he spent years destroying. And that's where everything falls apart. Because according to Barack Obama, this new agreement is unlikely to be significantly different from the very deal Trump spent years attacking. Speaking to ABC News, Obama delivered a calm but devastating assessment. It is doubtful that any agreement that arises is going to be significantly different or a significant improvement from the deal that we had in the first place. One sentence. One devastating reality check. Obama reminded Americans that the original agreement worked for years before the United States abandoned it. He expressed hope that the bombing would stop and that ordinary people would no longer suffer from the consequences of war. And he issued a warning that should sound painfully familiar. We cannot simply bully our way or bomb our way to solutions. Those words hit differently today. Because what exactly has Trump accomplished? He tore up a functioning agreement. He isolated America's allies. He increased regional instability. He escalated tensions to the brink of catastrophe. And now, after all of that, he appears to be negotiating a deal that closely resembles the one he destroyed. Only this time, critics argue, America's leverage has been weakened. The costs have been higher and the risks are greater. Trump once promised total surrender from Iran. Instead, he appears to have settled for negotiations. He once claimed he would deliver a deal so much stronger than Obama's. Instead, his administration is defending a framework agreement that many observers say looks remarkably familiar. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Governing is harder than campaigning. Obama understood that. Trump spent years pretending he did not. Let's go back to the 8th of May 2018, the day Trump withdrew from the JCPOA. Obama issued a statement that now reads like a warning from the future. He wrote that few issues were more important to America's security than preventing the spread of nuclear weapons and avoiding another destructive war in the Middle East. He stated clearly that the JCPOA was working, not according to political spin, not according to partisan talking points, according to America's European allies, independent expert, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and even senior members of Trump's own national security team at the time. Obama explained that the agreement had forced Iran to dismantle critical nuclear infrastructure, remove more than 2/3 of its centrifuges, eliminate 97% of its enriched uranium stockpile, and submit to one of the most comprehensive inspection systems ever negotiated. And perhaps most importantly, he emphasized a fact often ignored by Trump's supporters. The JCPOA was never based on trust. It was based on verification. International inspectors monitored Iran's facilities and supply chains. Compliance was measured through evidence, not promises. That distinction matters, because reports surrounding Trump's new agreement remain vague, and lawmakers from both parties are demanding transparency about enforcement mechanisms, inspection requirements, and the conditions attached to sanctions relief. Obama warned in 2018 that abandoning the agreement without evidence of Iranian violations would weaken America's credibility. He warned that it would strain relationships with allies. He warned that it could leave the United States facing a terrible choice: accept a nuclear-armed Iran or enter another war in the Middle East. 8 years later, those warnings feel remarkably prophetic. Trump often presents strength as the ability to threaten, intimidate, and escalate. Obama argued that true strength means building coalitions, listening to experts, and exhausting diplomatic options before resorting to military action. Those are fundamentally different visions of leadership, and the contrast could not be clearer. Throughout his political career, Trump accused Obama of weakness. Back in 2011, Trump repeatedly predicted that Obama would start a war with Iran for political reasons. He claimed America needed stronger leadership and better negotiating skills. But history took a different turn. Obama negotiated a multinational agreement designed to prevent war. Trump withdrew from it. Obama built an international coalition. Trump fractured it. Obama relied on diplomacy. Trump returned to military pressure and confrontation. And now Trump finds himself negotiating with Iran anyway. The irony is impossible to miss. Even members of Trump's own administration are struggling to explain how this new agreement differs from the JCPOA. Officials argue that Trump's approach demonstrates strength because it followed military escalation and economic pressure. They claim the threat of force gives America more leverage. But Obama's argument remains straightforward. The goal of diplomacy is not to prove how powerful you are. The goal is to prevent unnecessary conflict while protecting national security. War should be the last option, not the opening move. And despite years of criticism, the reality remains that the JCPOA achieved significant constraints on Iran's nuclear program without triggering a regional war. That does not mean the agreement was perfect. Obama himself acknowledged that. The JCPOA was never intended to solve every problem involving Iran. It did not address all regional conflicts or eliminate every security concern. Its purpose was specific: prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, because every other challenge becomes far more dangerous if nuclear proliferation enters the equation. That was the logic behind the deal then, and it appears to be the logic behind Trump's agreement now. Which raises one unavoidable question. If Trump's solution ultimately resembles Obama's strategy, why dismantle the original agreement in the first place? Because leadership is not about admitting no mistakes. Leadership is about making decisions that improve people's lives and strengthen global security. Obama's recent comments were not a victory lap. They were a warning. A reminder that foreign policy requires patience. A reminder that complex problems rarely have simple solutions. And a reminder that facts matter more than political theater. As the details of Trump's new agreement continue to emerge, Americans should ask tough questions. Is this deal stronger than the JCPOA? Are inspection mechanisms as rigorous? Will America's allies support it? What safeguards exist if Iran violates its commitments? And why did it take years of conflict to arrive back at a framework that looks so familiar? The answers matter, because the stakes are too high for slogans, too high for ego, too high for political games. Obama's message is clear. Diplomacy is not weakness. Facts are not weakness. Coalition building is not weakness. Preventing war is not weakness. And history may ultimately remember that the agreement Trump spent years destroying was the very blueprint he needed all along. We are Anonymous. Subscribe, share this video, and join us as we continue exposing the stories powerful people hope you never examine too closely.